It's the first evening of February in the year of our Lord 2011, and I'm Matthew Nies with your JCTV news update. Good evening, Jamestown. There was a fire in the southwest part of Jamestown today. JCTV news anchor Ronnie LaCroix has more on that story.
This afternoon, a fire destroyed a Jamestown home located on 13th Street Southwest. Jamestown Fire Chief Jim Ruther told me that the house was engulfed in flames throughout. At one point, flames reached 15 feet over the structure. Firefighters were hooked up to hydrants as well as entered the home to try and knock down the flames. The task of defeating the fire from within was high risk, so firefighters extracted from the house and battled the fire from outside. Fortunately, no one was home at the time of the fire, but 2 family dogs were lost. Firefighter Sheldon Moore left the scene with a shoulder injury, while another firefighter suffered from frostbite. The cause of the fire is unknown and under investigation. Reporting from Jamestown, Ronnie LaCroix, JCTV News.
Thank you, Ronnie. This weekend on the Jamestown College campus, the Religious Life Committee hosted a comedian. Christian comedian Darren Streblow performed at 7 on Saturday in the Denault Auditorium. JCTV correspondent Caleb Ruby caught up with Streblow to ask him a few questions.
Who told you you were good enough to do stand-up?
Certainly nobody. I was terrible when I started. It was weird. I felt like God told me to do it. It was kind of years ago. So after I felt like he had told me that, I started to realize, wow, I can't go into a restaurant or any sort of public place without making a fool of myself, trying to make people laugh. So I suppose maybe I should do it for money.
After Streblow's hilarious routine, a free will offering was collected for the Religious Life Committee. Well, today was a big day in Egypt. According to the New York Times, this afternoon, President Obama told Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak not to run for another term in Egyptian elections this coming fall. Egyptian state television later said President Mubarak would publicly announce that he would not seek another term. Such developments occurred after thousands of people crowded into Tahrir Square in Cairo, Egypt this morning. The crowds were protesting the continued rule of Mubarak. Protesters were emboldened after receiving news yesterday that the Egyptian military would not use force against protesters and that President Mubarak's most trusted advisor would negotiate with protesters. Meanwhile, today, chaos broke out at the Cairo airport. More than 18,000 people flocked to the facility to try and get flights out of the country ahead of a travel curfew. More than 80 special flights have already been arranged in order to evacuate many tourists out of Egypt and back to their home countries. Yesterday, the United States evacuated more than 1,200 Americans from Cairo, and 1,400 more Americans are supposed to fly out of Egypt in the next few days. Well, the weather outside has certainly been frigid lately, and we have a monster storm to thank for that. Today, there are blizzard warnings throughout much of the Midwest. In Chicago, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts produced waves on Lake Michigan as high as 25 feet. The city also could get over 20 inches of snow, if forecasters are right. The 5-day extended forecast for Jamestown also has a little snow in it. Tomorrow should be rather sunny but very windy. Winds will be 10 to 20 miles per hour, producing wind chills as low as 50 degrees below zero. On Thursday, there's a 20% chance of snow with highs in the mid-20s. Friday and Saturday also have a 20% chance of precipitation. And on Super Bowl Sunday, there's a 30% chance of snow with highs in the teens and lows below zero. It will definitely be a good day to stay inside and watch a football game. Well, tonight the Jimmy women's junior varsity basketball team took on Northern State University. The JV is looking for their first win of the season. The game began at 6:30 in the Hanson Center here on the Jamestown College campus. On Friday, at the Civic Center, the varsity men's and women's basketball teams will play against Black Hills State University. The women's game starts at 5:30 while the men play at 7:30. Friday is also family fun night at the Civic Center, but considering that the Jimmy men's basketball team recently supplanted Black Hills State for first place in the Dakota Athletic Conference, I'm sure the game will be anything but friendly. As for the rest of the week, the Jimmy men's wrestling team hosts Minot State University on Thursday at the Hanson Center, and the men's and women's track and field teams will be heading to Fargo this weekend to participate in the Bison Open. Well, today's history headline, courtesy of History.com, is the disastrous ending of a space shuttle mission. On February 1st, 2003, the space shuttle Columbia broke up upon entering the atmosphere, killing all 7 crew members on board. Cause of the accident was later assigned to a damaged left wing. But that was a different headline from a different day. For tomorrow's headlines, tune in to JCTV, where it's always our pleasure to connect the campus with the community. I'm Matthew Nies, and I hope the rest of your evening is anything but platitudinous. Good night.